justify, justify, justify. So, let's talk about the word justify. As a verb, it means to show or explain something is correct or reasonable, often in a way that proves someone is right, or just you can use it in everyday conversations like, I justified my decision to buy this car by thinking about how much money I'll save on transportation costs. Or more formally, the lawyer had to justify the company's actions in court. One thing to note is that when you're using justify with a negative connotation, it implies that someone is trying to make an excuse for something they've done wrong. For example, he justified his behavior by saying he was just joking, which might not be the best way to get out of trouble. In general, justify is used when you're explaining or defending your actions or decisions in a logical and sensible way. In a formal setting, a university professor might say, I expect you to justify your research findings with credible sources and data. Otherwise, your thesis will not be accepted. This sentence demonstrates the word justify in its more formal tone, implying that one needs to provide a logical explanation or reasoning behind their work. In contrast, a casual conversation between friends might sound like this. I know I spent $50 on video games last night, but I can justify it because I've been working so hard and need something to unwind. Here, the word justify is used in a more relaxed tone, implying that one needs to make an excuse or explanation for their actions. Lastly, in a business context, a manager might say, before we decide on investing in a new marketing campaign, let's justify the costs by analyzing our projected sales and revenue. This sentence demonstrates the word justify in its more professional tone, implying that one needs to provide a clear justification or explanation for their decisions. So, you want to know about justify? Well, in simple terms, when we say something is justified, we mean that it's been given a good reason or explanation for being true or acceptable. Imagine someone says, I was late because there was an accident on the road. That person has given a reason or justification for their tardiness. The main characteristic of justification is that it explains or makes sense of something that might otherwise seem wrong or unreasonable. It's similar to concepts like explaining, rationalizing, or vindicating, but more formal and official sounding. When we justify something, we're not just making excuses. We're giving a valid reason for why it happened. Layer, layer, layer. The word layer is a noun that refers to something that is placed on top of another thing in a way that they are separate but still connected. In common usage, you might talk about a layer of fog on a mountain road, a layer of soil in gardening, or a layer of protection in safety measures. It's also used to describe physical objects like a layer of fabric on clothing or a layer of wood. In construction, one special note is that when talking about layers in the context of data, food, or other abstract concepts, the word layer can imply multiple levels of something stacked together. Whereas when referring to a single, thick sheet of material, it might be more accurate to say sheet instead. In a formal tone, you might say, the professor's lecture was divided into several layers of complexity, starting with the basics and gradually building up to more advanced topics. This sentence is an example of how the word layer can be used in an academic setting to describe a hierarchical structure or progression. In contrast, you could use the phrase in casual conversation like this: I just got the most delicious cake from that new bakery. It had multiple layers of moist vanilla, sponge and rich chocolate frosting. This sentence is an example of how the word layer can be used to describe something with a distinct physical structure or composition. Finally, you might say, to optimize our company's online security, we need to implement multiple layers of encryption and firewalls to protect against potential cyber threats. This sentence is an example of how the word layer can be used in a business context to describe a process or system designed to provide added protection or functionality. So, you want to know about something that helps us get organized and focused? It's a way of breaking down complex information into smaller, more manageable pieces. Kind of like taking a big puzzle and sorting out all the different colors or shapes. This concept has some similar ideas in other languages too, such as stratum, which is used in Latin and Greek-based languages to describe a level or step in something. It's also related to concepts like level, stage, or rung, but with a slightly more specific focus on organizing information. When we use this concept, it helps us create a clear structure for learning new things by dividing the process into distinct steps or stages that build on each other. Link. 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 The word link is a versatile term that can be used in various contexts. As a verb, it means to connect or join something physical or abstract with another thing, such as a link between two people or a link to a website. In this sense, common usage includes creating a connection or establishing a relationship between entities. For example, she linked her phone to the car's Bluetooth system. On the other hand, when used as a noun, a link refers to something that connects or relates two things, such as a physical chain or a digital hyperlink. This can be seen in phrases like, the link between smoking and lung cancer is well established, or, she couldn't access the website because of a broken link. In a formal setting, you might say, the conference will feature a keynote speaker who will discuss the latest developments in technology, which are expected to have a significant impact on the global economy. And we encourage all attendees to review the link provided to our website for further information. This sentence uses the word link to refer to a specific URL or web page. In contrast, in a casual conversation with a friend, you might say, "Hey, I just found this awesome new recipe online. Check out the link on my phone. It's so easy to make." Here, the word link is used to share a specific internet address or URL with someone else. The context of a casual conversation suggests that the tone should be relaxed and informal. In a business or academic setting, you might say, the research team will provide a detailed report on their findings, which includes a link to an online database where additional data can be accessed. In this example, the word link is used to refer to a connection between two or more entities, in this case, the research report and the online database. The context suggests a level of formality and professionalism that is typical of business or academic discourse. So you want to know about that thingamajig that connects two parts of information together? Okay, let me break it down for you. A connection point is something that helps people navigate from one piece of content to another. Kind of like a bookmark but on a bigger scale. It's often found at the bottom or top of a web page. And when you click on it, it takes you to a new place online. Some people also call it a jump or an entry point. But essentially it's just a way to get from one piece of info to another quickly and easily.